On a brisk autumn morning in New York City, where the golden hues of fall leaves contrasted sharply with the gray urban skyline, a man named Ethan Reed stood at a crossroads in his life, both metaphorically and literally. Ethan was a successful corporate executive, known for his sharp suits, polished demeanor, and relentless pursuit of perfection. Yet beneath the surface he carried a deep dissatisfaction, a feeling that his life lacked authenticity. That morning, as Ethan walked to work, he stumbled upon an elderly street artist named Walter sketching portraits in the park. Walter's setup was modest, just a wooden easel, a foldable chair, and a collection of colored pencils. His work was attracting a small crowd, each onlooker marveling at how he managed to capture not just the physical likeness of his subjects, but something deeper, their essence. Intrigued, Ethan decided to have his portrait done. Walter studied Ethan for a moment, his piercing blue eyes seeming to see right through him. Then, without a word, he began to draw. The process took just 20 minutes, but when Walter turned the canvas around, Ethan was speechless. The portrait wasn't the flawless, confident man he portrayed to the world. Instead, it reflected his true self, his weariness, his insecurities, and the loneliness that gnawed at him despite his outward success. Ethan was both stunned and offended. "This isn't me," he protested. Walter smiled gently and replied, "The world sees the face you choose to wear, but this is the face you carry within. Your society mirrors it every day, even if you don't realize it." The encounter left Ethan rattled. He began noticing things he had overlooked before: the strained relationships with his colleagues, the superficiality of his friendships, and even the cold distance between him and his family. His polished exterior had created an environment where people mirrored his guarded nature. The more Ethan thought about it, the more he realized that Walter's words were true. Society wasn't just a collection of individuals, it was a reflection of his own actions, attitudes, and values. Over the following weeks, Ethan's introspection deepened. He replayed countless interactions in his mind, recognizing patterns he had ignored for years. At work, he had always been the perfectionist, demanding results but rarely offering encouragement. His team's formal and distant behavior mirrored his own. At home, he had distanced himself from his family, prioritizing work over personal connections. His younger brother, Jason, once vibrant and eager to share his life, had grown quiet and withdrawn around Ethan, mirroring the emotional walls Ethan had built. Determined to change, Ethan started small. He began volunteering at a community center, working with kids from underprivileged backgrounds. For the first time in years, he felt a sense of purpose that wasn't tied to his career. At first, the children were wary of him, sensing his stiffness and formality. But over time, as Ethan let down his guard, they responded with warmth and openness. He found himself laughing more, sharing stories, and genuinely connecting. These moments began to chip away at the facade he had carefully maintained for so long. Ethan also made an effort to reconnect with his brother Jason. Their initial conversations were awkward, filled with long silences and polite formalities. But Ethan persisted. One evening, he invited Jason over for dinner and shared the story of his encounter with Walter. For the first time, Ethan admitted his fears and vulnerabilities. Jason listened intently, and when Ethan finished, he simply said, "I've been waiting for this version of you." That night marked the beginning of their reconciliation. At work, Ethan's transformation didn't go unnoticed. He started acknowledging his team's efforts, celebrating small victories, and showing genuine interest in their lives. Slowly, the atmosphere in the office shifted. Meetings became more collaborative, conversations more open. His colleagues, once wary of his sharp demeanor, began to trust him. Ethan realized that by changing his own behavior, he had created a ripple effect, encouraging others to do the same. One day, months later, Ethan returned to the park where he had met Walter. He found the artist in his usual spot, sketching another portrait. Ethan walked up to him and said, "I think I understand now. You weren't just drawing me, you were showing me the world I had created." Walter looked up and smiled. "The world doesn't change because we want it to. It changes because we change. You've done the hard part, now keep going." Ethan's story is a powerful reminder of a simple truth. Society is a mirror. It reflects the collective sum of our individual choices, actions, and attitudes. If we want a world filled with kindness, understanding, and compassion, we must first embody those qualities ourselves. Too often we look outward, blaming others or the system for the world's flaws, without recognizing the role we play in shaping it. Consider your own life. Are you contributing to a culture of openness and empathy, or are you perpetuating division and indifference? Small acts of kindness, like listening without judgment or offering a helping hand, can ripple outward, influencing those around us in profound ways. Likewise, honesty and authenticity can inspire others to drop their masks and connect on a deeper level. Ethan's journey teaches us that change begins with self-awareness. It's not about perfection but progress. Every interaction we have is an opportunity to create the kind of world we wish to live in. When we show patience, we invite patience. When we act with integrity, we inspire integrity. And when we lead with love and compassion, we build a society that reflects those values. The truth is, transformation isn't easy. It requires humility to admit our flaws and courage to face them. It's a journey filled with setbacks and doubts, but it's also deeply rewarding. By looking inward and aligning our actions with our values, we not only enrich our own lives but also elevate the world around us. So take a moment to reflect on what you're putting out into the world. Are you showing up as the person you aspire to be? Are your actions creating the society you want to live in? Remember, society is a true reflection of our collective personalities. Let's make it a reflection we can all be proud of.